All right, you guys, so let's talk about some preliminary steps that you can take in order to confront this hygiene issue. Well, hello, school counselors and school counselors to be. Thank you guys so much for coming to my channel, The Inspiring School Counselor. And today, you guys, as you can already tell from the title down below, we're going to be getting into how you can confront hygiene issues with your students. So I'm excited to get into this with you guys. Hopefully you guys are excited too. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. All right, y'all, let's get into it. So you guys are going to be seeing me look down at my tablet because I have plenty of notes I have written down here. But one thing that I want you guys to keep in mind whenever you are dealing with a teacher or whoever that is coming to you concerning a student that has, poor hygiene or body odor, there's a couple of factors that you want to keep in mind because it can be so easy to be like, well, this person smells, they don't want to take care of themselves, or they're just trying to be nasty, or whatever type of thoughts that can arise in your mind or even others' mind. It could be very well that they might not want to take a bath. They might not want to take a shower. They might not want to wash their clothes. But still, there can be other factors that can come into play whenever you're dealing with maybe, poor hygiene or hygiene issues, I should say. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and start getting into some of those factors. So some of the things that I have written down is sweat, okay? First of all, you don't really have to be doing much of anything to sweat, especially if you're dealing with a person that can sweat so easily. Whether you're walking up the stairs or maybe you're sitting in the classroom and you're trying to get ready for a presentation and all of a sudden you break out in a sweat. There could be many factors that could cause someone to break out in a sweat, but that can be a factor. Also, you have dirty clothes, all right? You have food choices. I actually know of an individual that eats a lot of garlic, and literally the garlic comes out the pores of their skin. And so with that being said, food can be an issue. You also have a failure to bathe regularly. Maybe the student just doesn't want to bathe. That can be a reason why they're dealing with some hygiene issues, some body odor. You also have dirty bedding that can play a part, smoking, drug use. So let me back up to the smoking part. I remember when I was a teacher assistant and I was just collecting notes, whenever the students come in late and they have like a doctor's excuse or maybe they were absent, I used to take those notes in and make sure I filed them. Let me tell you guys, the student passed me their note. And when I tell you the cigarette smell was so heavy on that note, literally, even with the student gone, even with there was, minutes, maybe even hours going by, I can still smell the stench of the smoke on that letter. So even if the student isn't smoking, but if their parents are smoking around them, then that can really linger, and that can also be a cause of maybe some hygiene issues going there. Not personally with the student, but because of what they're around in their environment and their skin, their pores, or their clothes is soaking up that, then that's going to, of course, linger through wherever they are. So that can be an issue. I already said drug use. Culture, okay? There might, depending on the culture, may determine, some of the smells that you might be, getting from some of the students. And so with that being said, you just want to keep in mind with that. If the student has animals, that can be an issue. So any type of pets, any type of medical issue can be a reason why they might have like a body odor or hygiene issues. It can be something that is just hereditary. That probably goes under the medical issues that's going on. I actually remember back when, I think it was last year, I actually had a teacher reach out to me because there was a student in class. Their feet really smelled bad. And so I ended up having to talk to the student, and I also talked to the parent, and gratefully I talked to the parent, and the parent was able to give me some insight of why it was that this student was dealing with some feet odor, and that was because it was hereditary. It was just something that ran in their family. So that parent has took that student to the doctor to try to figure out how they can make it better and correct it. And so, but that can very well be an issue. And another thing that I have written down is just to keep in mind of their socioeconomical status. So it is it an individual that might be homeless, okay, or might not have really much? Maybe they can't take baths like they want to because they don't have the money to really do that, or they can't get to the necessary resources for them to take the showers, wash the clothes and stuff that they need. So that is something that you have to keep in mind. And at the end of the day, whenever you're dealing with a sensitive issue such as this, you want to make sure that you are approaching it the right way, especially being the school counselor, and making sure you're coming with an open mind to just understand the situation and what's going on. All right, you guys, so let's talk about some preliminary steps that you can take in order to confront this hygiene issue. So for one, you can actually deliver lessons. You can deliver lessons at the middle of the year, the beginning of the year, even at the end of the year, or all three of those times, okay? And so with that, lessons are going to be very important. For one, it's not just one individual getting the lesson. It's actually going to be the whole school. And so with that being said, if the whole school is getting the lesson, you are taking steps in order to just address it whole, because hopefully that is able to kind of just inform the students so that they can get that information and hopefully apply the information that's being given out to them. But of course, we know, as I talked about before, there could be other factors that's taking place, any medical issues or maybe something that's hereditary. If it is that there are some students that's dealing with that aspect of the hygiene issues, then you might have to pull to the side, or you might have to get a little bit more information so that you can be able to help them. So those lessons might address things like eating healthy, puberty, also talking about how to keep yourself clean and the importance of taking showers every day. And so those lessons will be a big, huge benefit. Another thing that you can do is that you can actually invite different ones to come to give presentations on just hygiene and puberty, fitness, and all those type of areas. And so you can do that. You can have your school nurse do it. You can also have the PE coach do it. I know for my school, we actually, not only do I do lessons, but we have something called Germ City, where we have this individual, I forgot what her position is, but she basically comes to the school and she talks to the students about Germ City. It's like a big event. She talks to them about the importance of staying clean. And so it's just a great event for my elementary students. That might be something that you can do, is inviting others out to give presentations for your students. Another thing that you can do as well is pass out pamphlets, newsletters that you can send out, and even posting it on social media, just the importance of hygiene and making sure that you take care of yourself. And this don't even have to be necessarily for one individual. You can actually send this out to all individuals. It's addressing all students, and hopefully they're able to take that information and apply it. And the last thing that I have down for that is finding videos that can also talk to the students about it. So, and there's plenty of videos that's out there that you can show, and that could be something that you can do as well. So now let's talk about how you can address students that maybe the teacher reached out to you or whoever reached out to you to talk to you about the student that is having the hygiene issue. So for one, you always want to talk to the student independently. You never want to talk to the student around other students, because that's embarrassing. I mean, I wouldn't want nobody to do that to me, okay? And so with that being said, you want to pull that student on the side. And I would really prefer in your office or in your classroom to talk to them about that. That is going to be very important. And if it is that you need to pull in the parent as well and maybe have a meeting on it or something like that, if it is that to that extent, then do so. Like I was sharing with you guys before about the student that had feet odor, I actually ended up pulling that student independently, talking to that student, and then after I was done, I actually called the parent, and I'm glad that I did, because the parent was able to give me a more insight of what was going on, which was it was hereditary, and they are actually seeing doctors for that can help them or help that student with that issue. So that is something you can do. You can provide the student with maybe a pamphlet, or provide them with a checklist that can address just different steps that they can take in order to, have good hygiene. And so that can be something that you can offer for that student. For one, it will be a good conversational piece, going through that and just being able to give them something visual to see. And another thing I have written down is just for you to call the parents and talk to the parents, especially if the students are underage, so get the parents involved as well, because they're still minor and you can kind of get that feedback and see, okay, what's really going on at home. And if there's anything that you need to do and provide for the student, because maybe they're dealing with, maybe the student is homeless, and not saying that because the student is homeless, they're going to smell or they're going to have hygiene issues. No, I'm not saying that at all. But by you talking to the parent and you kind of understanding what the situation is, then you're able to provide the resources necessary. Now, I actually have an example of hygiene kits. I've shared this plenty of times in my prior videos if you have watched it, but I have some things that we have at the school. So near my school, we have a family resource center, and they just send a lot of just stuff, clothes, shoes, hygiene products. Like I showed you guys in the video before, I'm just going to give you a better close-up. So it has, let me just open this. It has deodorant in this. It also has, let's see, body wash. It looks like shampoo. If you guys can see that. A toothbrush, a brush with a mirror, and then it also has wipes. Don't you love that? So you can put together little small kits like that. You can get businesses to donate kits like this, or even provide money so that you can buy the items necessary to put together something like this. But this is just something to have, just in case you might have to pass this on to a student. Now, as far as if it is that you're giving this to the student, they walk into your, they walk to your office or whatever, and they end up saying, yes, I want one. Maybe you don't want to keep it in a clear bag like this. And I would probably put it like in a green bag that's not see-through, so other students don't know what is in this bag. But still yet, you can give this to the student. Maybe they can put it in their backpack. All right. That could be a place that they can put it. And they'll have something that they're able to take with them and help them with that, any type of hygiene issues that they're dealing with. So that is something that you can do. I also had a dentist office that provided like a toothbrush and toothpaste. And so that is another part of what? Hygiene. And if it is that you need to give that out to a student, and they are requesting it as well, if they are, then you have that to provide for them. Now, the next thing that I have on there is, that I have on my list, is getting the right people involved. And that's like getting the school nurse involved if you need to, the social worker if you need to. You can even, like I said before, reach out to dentist's office or your family resource center to see if they can give items so that you can provide resources for your students. The next thing that I have written down here, and I know some schools actually do this, we don't necessarily provide a place where students can like take a shower and stuff, but we do have certain things, like for instance, if they have dirty clothes, maybe we can give them clean clothes, or shoes. If their shoes are not in the best shape, then we can give them better shoes. And of course, the items that I just showed you. So, but I know that there are some schools that have washer and dryer, so they're able to have their students wash their clothes and dry them. And even if the students don't, I know whoever's over it can wash and dry them, and then so the kids can have something nice and clean to wear. Now, depending on how severe it is and what's going on, you might have to get Child Protective Services or Department of Children's Services involved, because just depends on the situation. I actually had a situation where I thought I had to get DCS involved, but after talking to parents, and then I got one of the ladies from the Family Resource Center involved as well to try to get resources, I didn't have to call. But it might be an issue where you might have to call and get DCS involved. If it is, it's a neglect type of issue. So that's everything that I have down. I hope that this was able to help you guys. If you have any questions, you can always email me at theinspiringschoolcounselor@gmail.com, or you can also put it down in the comments down below and I will get to it as soon as I can. I thank you guys so much for your time. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. All right, I'll see you guys next time.